to start. All right. Our chapter for this evening, which will be Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12. Okay. Um, if you have anything, please bring it out. All right. Please bring it out. I think I really appreciate it's a small chapter. All right. We'll see how this goes. Do we need to read chapter before? No. All right, we can start at Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12.
Give me 1 second, beloved. I'm sharing it on Facebook.
Oh, okay, no, you're fine. Good. Numbers 12. So we're gonna be like always, love it. I know the Old Testament is something like they like throw it off for second hand stuff or whatever, they try to downplay it. Even the stories, they have a lot of gems in them. Okay. You can understand even laws and commandments through the stories. Okay, so when we examine it, remember this stuff was for our learning. All right, the scriptures are for our learning. Okay, we get into history. Yes, it's the history of our people, but also it is lessons in our history. Okay, whether in obedience to the Most High God or in disobedience. We see both. Um, a lot of times disobedience, but we see both in there. So it's good to go through these stories. And a lot of these things, you can correlate it to things we see today. A lot of these things, like Solomon's saying, nothing new under the sun, right? It's just the same old recycled thing. Okay, so some of the answers we might be looking for, okay, can be in these stories. Okay, when you're giving counseling or giving, good words, however you want to do exhortation, right? It ain't always thou and thus shall not, thou shall not, all those kind of things. You have stories in here that you can sometimes correlate and relate to. Okay. So once again, just having this so we can really not just read it like a story. Don't just read it like it's some um fantasy book or something like that. This is real history. This is history of our people. And also the Most High has sprinkled some of his lessons in these stories. That's why it's on here for us. Okay. All right. So last week we was doing the quail. Okay, the quails. All right, they had quail coming. Remember, someone was dying with the quail in their teeth. So we understand our people we're doing all kind of murmuring and driving Moses crazy. All right, driving Moses crazy. All right. So Brother Kyle, you good now?
Big con.
All right, brother. So we'll start at Numbers 12. All right. Numbers 12, and we'll go to we'll start at verse 1. All right. Numbers 12 and verse 1.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, have Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moses? Have he not spoken also by us? And Yahweh heard it. Uh-oh.
All right. Yeah, oh is right, beloved. Oh is right. All right. So so we look at this one, okay? Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman. So, beloved, this is a good thing dealing with leadership and all these kind of yeah, a good lesson to learn. Okay. So Miriam and Moses speaking against Moses. I mean, Miriam and Aaron speaking against Moses. So we know Aaron, the high priest, but Miriam, right? And we talk about women. No, she was very valuable. Got a big shout out, right? We don't want to minimize her thing, all right? Because it's very important why Most High gonna do what he's doing. Okay. These were leaders. These were people that the Most High was dealing with. Aaron and Miriam, they were their leadership. Okay. You have to be very mindful what we say, because we're going to get into it, right? But they spake against Moses because of what? The Ethiopian woman whom he married. So yes, Moses did marry an Ethiopian woman. Okay. And he did have his sons by her. Okay. Um, so this gets in the whole realm of the whole marriage thing. Okay. Not gonna go fully into it, but just touch the surface of it. It wasn't a sin marrying outside of Israel. All right. Not something that's promoted. Promoted was the what? You get the daughters of your people. Okay. That's the best thing. You should get the daughters of your people. Why? Because they have what? The teachings, everything. You don't have to try to build a wife, right? It's they got the teachings, they got the doctrine. It's a smooth transition. Okay. Now, some of our brothers didn't always do that. Looked outside, try to do certain things, and there's what? There's sometimes it can be hard doing that kind of stuff. It's a process. We're dealing with some of it when we're trying to be right and trying to get our partners on the same page, right? We see the struggle of it with that. Remember, you taking a full-fledged heathen, remember, they have their gods and stuff like that. They got a lot with that. Okay. But they had an issue with Moses and the Ethiopian woman. Kai, where's the one where everybody goes to it and it specifically names the people that you
Uh,
shouldn't. That was
Deuteronomy 7.
seven, right? Okay.
Uh,
Let's go to that real quick. But yes, the plan is 100%. You should find them among your people. That is the best thing. That's what's promoted. Everything else, you're going to take a chance. Now, one of the other things that people don't equate with Moses as well. Remember, Moses met her when he what? He fled from Egypt. When
uh,
like he's around there, he fled from Egypt. Listen, one thing, brother definitely wasn't a eunuch or anything. He could get something, okay? So he was there. So it wasn't like he was in Israel doing all this stuff and then, well, I'm gonna go grab some. No, that wasn't the. Remember, he fled from there. He was out there for, I want to say like, was he there for like 40 years? Was it 40? He's out there for a long time. I want to quote the years. Okay. So that's another thing we get in Moses. Oh, well, Moses desired that. Moses had I don't want to say exception, but he had a different case. Okay. When it comes to it. But nonetheless, Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7.
when Yahweh thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
So these are nations in that land of Canaan, the promised land that was promised to what? Us. They were acting up, doing things contrary to God. Most High, like, I'm gonna bring this people. I'm gonna have y'all there. You're not gonna make. Well, it's gonna get into it. Matter of fact, let's read it, verse 2.
And when Yahweh thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor shew mercy unto them.
And tell them when you go there, you're gonna what? Not make no covenant with them. You're not gonna make a league with them. Okay. I'm not saying he does it all the time because remember Moses was making a league. We read what that the last chapter, right, with his father-in-law and everything, and was saying, why don't y'all come with us? God will be good with y'all. Well, he's good to us, and we'll basically be good to y'all. So he was making a covenant. He's saying, when y'all go there, though, don't do that with them. Okay, we can speculate of why and different reasons. A lot of things happening over there. All right, even though we messed that up too, right? But we were supposed to utterly destroy them. That's why you need to make a lead. You're going to destroy them. Don't show no mercy. Okay. Verse 3. Listen to this.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
So you're not going to give your daughter to marry their sons, the sons to marry your daughter, because that's also what? That's a covenant. All right. You enter into a covenant with them. Why is it specific with that? Verse 4.
For they will turn away thy son from following me,
Mm-hmm.
that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
And how we can look at that today, beloved, right? When the men marry some of these women that are not of God, even if they were injured, they'll start to what? You'll see they'll start to fade away. Whether they was a very dedicated brother, now they got to fall back. They got to deal with it. So he's saying with this, don't make no marriage with them. All right, don't do that because your sons, they'll turn your sons away and they'll make them to what? Serve other gods. Now that's just we're still gonna blame the man. The man's being weak for that. All right. Women shouldn't make you go and do that. But like we read in the Wednesday class, right? Women and wine has what they brought down many strong men.
Strong.
Okay. Women and wine can do that's the same recipe. Say ain't even change the recipe. But wine and women, I'm gonna get a lot of with. Okay. And so we see that because man wants to what? He wants to please the woman, right? Worrying about her and putting that, and he will not saying it's wrong doing that, putting her over what? The things of God. That's the only issue. You can love your wife, you're supposed to love your wife, give her everything, do all that you can do for her. Now, when it touches down doing something with the Most High God, that's what's the issue. All right. But also, it's what? If they're not into this thing, what they're going to do, by nature, they're going to gravitate and pull you away from it. Okay. If you're not going towards the Most High, beloved, you're going the other way. There ain't no stand still. I know we like to think that you're not never standing still. If you're not walking towards righteousness, you're walking the other way. So if this person is not going towards your God, what are they doing? They're pushing you more the other way. Okay. And a lot of times, a lot of men are going to be weak for their woman, and that's what will happen. And we see it over and over and over and over again. Is that the woman's fault? No. Man was supposed to be the head. He gave us a certain spirit to be dominant things of that nature. But what? We will yield our strength to a woman. Okay? That's the issue. We're yielding our strength to her. Okay? And for, like I said, this is in a negative sense. All right? So this is where, because two things will go together unless they be what? Agreed. Okay? So this is why he was saying, don't you marry them, don't do that. And remember, beloved, they're taking over this land. Some of them going to have what? Probably thinking they have ties to the land. They got to do, right? He's trying to purge it out and then what? Bring this what? This people in there. All right, so you purging out the old and bring this in there. I don't want you still what? Trying to connect those things that I'm purging out. And we do the same thing. Trying to hold on to things that God is trying to what? Let go and purge out. All right? While we're here, let's go to verse 5. Let's go to verse 5 and 6.
But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire.
You think they're gonna want you doing that?
Nope.
No women, they're some of their fathers and uncles, and because it's like we have our God and our people dealing with it. They got their families and people. That's what they've been getting taught idolatry and dealing with multiple gods and stuff, just like we getting taught about this one God. They all in it. That's their life. You think they're gonna be okay when you just destroying all this stuff? You don't think they're gonna be trying to advocate and rally, right, for their gods? Absolutely. That's the thing about Israel. We'll give up our God quick for these false gods. Boy, I tell you, we'll give it up real quick. They don't be the other nations, they don't be giving up their gods quick, but we will give up our God quick to follow some falsehood. Let's keep going. Verse 6.
But thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy God.
Supposed to be.
Yahweh thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
And that is true.
Mm-hmm.
They can marry whoever, whatever. Yeah, that's why it's so smooth with them. It don't matter if this nation got 2 gods or 4 gods they believe in, and they marry somebody that got 8 gods. They still dealing with most, it's still falsehood. They can walk together and be agreed. It'll be fine with them. But for us, we are what? A holy people. We got to understand that. We are a holy people. You as parents, we should not be what? Signing off for our children, going to what? Connecting to people that's what? Not holy. We have lowered our standards. It ain't just starting here. I'm going to tell you, even the Bible doing it, right? But this is a problem. That's supposed to be what? Your children, the fruit of your loin, they're the offspring. You should want the best for them, just like you want the best for yourself. I'm not signing off for what? My child being there because my child is what? A special child. It's all right to say your child is special,
Uh,
right? Don't let Satan get you tricked up. No, my child's special. I raised them up to be what? Special and fearing of the Most High God. You doing all that work that I want to sign off and act like I'm signing off so they can marry somebody that can tear all that down? No, you work too hard, beloved. Just like Christmas, you were doing all that shop, doing all that work, paying for the presents, and then you gonna give credit to some what? Some obese white man. Mm-mm. And we know that's just all falsehood, but just letting y'all know the comparison. You are a holy people. You got to believe that. I think sometimes we read things, but we don't believe it. You're a special people.
mhm.
Just like we talk about oppression. When they were believing they were special, they were God chosen, they weren't trying to marry them off to you. No, that was a downgrade to give their children to you. See, they can get it. And they all messed up. They ain't even real people. But we don't understand that. Okay? You are the prize. You are the people of God. Listen, thou art holy people unto what? Unto the Lord thy God. I don't care if they don't think you're holy. The Lord's saying you're holy in what? God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. He chose you to be special to himself. Who cares what other people think? Who cares their thoughts? Who cares what they believe in? Oh, you believe you're holier than that? All that nonsense. I've been doing these laws and commandments because, yes, I want to be holy. If you intimidated by my righteousness, that's your problem, not mine. Okay? So, beloved, this is how it's supposed to go. Above all people that are upon the face of earth, yes. How do we know that? Because that's why he gave us the laws and everything. That's the key to excelling us above all. Okay? He poured his love onto us through his word. Okay, we might even touch on some of that tomorrow for tomorrow lesson. Okay, verse 6. Later, did we do 6? Verse 7, verse 7.
Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people.
It ain't like he chose you because we was a great nation, not because we had the most amount of people. Saying no, I actually chose you because you were few. I actually chose you because you weren't special on your own. I actually chose you because y'all were the lowest on the earth. Because some of our brothers sisters need to be humble. It's God that made you special. Don't think it's just your brown skin or this and that and this. God what made you special. His love upon you has made you special, have excelled you and put you above. It wasn't just natural because I could show you where you was natural and nobody wanted you. But God put his spirit upon us. He had compassion upon us. And when God's in a thing, it has no option but to what? Excel. All right. Read that next verse, then we're gonna get out of here.
On. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers,
Mhm.
have you, Yahweh brought you out of the might, Salakia, have Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
You see that? That first part. But because Yahweh loves you.
Mm-hmm.
We got all these reasons thinking this and this because we did. Because he loved us. That's why he chose us to be a special people. He could have made anybody special people. He could have chose any nation, beloved. All right? That's nothing we particularly did. That's the problem. We think we did you did you die. He loved you. Right? He loved you. Before you can even love yourself he loved us. All right. And he had what? He already put an oath upon our forefather to what? That he will carry us out and we'll go to that land and all these kind of things. That's why he had to what? Redeemed us. All right. He redeemed us out of Egypt so we can get there. All right. So let's go back. All right. We took a detour. All right. So once again, If you're asking, yes, you want to get the big thing, beloved, the big thing. You want to get somebody that's in the truth. Okay? That's the big thing. Yes, of your people, because they ain't just get Israel. You want to get Israel that was truly Israel, because all Israel is what?
Not Israel.
Israel. All right. So some brothers like, oh, I just want to get somebody that got, so she got some melanin. No, you got to get somebody. You look at your nation. You get somebody that's submitting and following the truth. Now, if you want more advice, you want to get somebody that's y'all going under the same leadership congregation. Somebody gotta, you might have the partner over here in this congregation, this partner over there. And when there's issues and stuff, what happened? They're gonna go to their leadership, you go to your leadership, and they can be a conflicting thing. It's just like going to your family. You man go to his family, might justify his actions. The woman go to her family, justify, and that's why you want to have on that one umbrella. Okay, so just giving you little words of advice, but you can do what you want. All right, so that was verse 1. Read that verse 2 again.
And they said, have Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moses? Have he not spoken also by us? And Yahweh heard
Yeah, yeah, they was you gotta be humble in this thing, beloved. All right, you gotta be humble, and you gotta know your place in your role. Okay, let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus 15. We can go to another spot. Exodus 15 and verse. Found two things in here. Let's go to verse 20, and then we're going to go to another spot. Exodus 15 and verse 20. Exodus 15,
it. Verse 20.
verse 20. Yes, sir.
And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances.
So once again, Miriam's a what?
Prophetess.
Prophetess. Okay. So it wasn't that she wasn't, and we're going to see that still in this chapter. It wasn't that she was lying about God dealing with her. She's she just thought she was on a different level. God was dealing with her. She was a prophetess. Okay. And she was, what was she doing with it? And say she was preaching and say she was usurping authority over men. Remember, they always want to grab certain things. They ain't say what she did. What she do? Miriam, the prophet, sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the what? Women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. Okay. So she was praising God. You think you do something, you should be praising the Most High. And what? The other women was looking at that and praising. That's leadership, beloved. Right? You said she had to be great because she was checking them in, all that. See, that's what people just, feminine movement try to do all that kind of stuff. Nah, we talking about righteous, virtuous women. Look how they moved. Okay. All right. Let's go to Micah chapter 6. Micah chapter 6. We don't go in this book often.
I know.
But he's going to grab something else about, right? Micah chapter 6. And just give me verse 4. Micah chapter 6 and just verse 4.
For I brought thee out of the land of Egypt and redeemed thee out of the house of servants. And I sent before thee Moses, Aaron, and Miriam.
All right. So just because they put like women, I'm letting y'all women. Miriam was special.
Okay, she was.
Yeah, higher name than some men. Some men you don't even understand. See in here, they was doing some stuff during that time, right? Miriam getting the shout out. She's getting credit for what? Leading Israel out. Okay. So they going saying, oh, they didn't expect women in this. All they no, that's not true. Okay. Gave our woman the credit they deserve. Okay. So once again, just showing Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. He said, I sent before thee. So he said, I sent them. So Most High God sent her as well. Okay. So she had a job as well. All right. Let's go back. But she's just not the what? She ain't the priest or anything like that. but she said that she was working in her capacity. Okay. So looking at that, this is why I'm just showing you that to show this is why it's a big problem. Remember, he had murmuring dealing with the people. All right, that can get checked. But now when you have it amongst leadership, now this is a different thing, right? Because this can really fracture the nation. Okay. So when the people gonna murmur, do that kind of thing, but now you got what? You got the leadership. The three that he's saying I used to, to basically send Israel out or lead them out. Now you got two of them going against the one. All right, and those two, this we're gonna look. They ain't about voting system when it comes to Most High God. All right, so listen what they said. Have Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moses? See what they saying? Moses acting like he's on a different level than us. Like he's the only one God spoke to. Have he not spoken also by us? And Yahweh heard it. So this is why sometimes we have to be, not sometimes, we have to be mindful of what we say. Okay? And when you get certain things that you have certain things in your mind, like, you know what? Nah, that ain't right. You gotta try to purge that thing out. Because you let it set on your mind, more than likely it's gonna come out of your mouth one day. And the Most High can what? Hear it. It didn't say she was going on her knees and they was praying this to the Most High. They're making a statement. They're saying something. And the Most High what? Heard their talk. So when you're thinking, oh, how do I officially pray? When I'm dealing with the Most High God, I got to go. And there's certain things we talk about prayer, but I want you to know, don't think that's when, oh, now I want to start listening. Oh, they just want to talk to me now. No, beloved, the things we are saying daily, these conversations, if you want to look in that way, angel bringing that back to the Most High. So you see how you have to be mindful all the time.
Mhm.
You have not just watching your words when you go to the church or the synagogue, whatever, not just then. You have to live this thing all the time. Because see, this is what we don't realize. Man, I didn't do nothing in church. I'm always submitted, doing everything I gotta do. But you speak that garbage throughout the week, but the Most High can hear that. That's what you fail to realize. He's hearing those kind of things. And that's the stuff of why he's hindering. You're like, why am I not getting these kind of things? Yeah, because I heard you. Lord said, I heard you. I know you didn't think nobody heard you. I know you didn't even hear yourself because you thinking I only hear when you get down on your knees and pray. Oh, no, no, no. I hear the questions. I hear the thoughts. And okay. So, and the Lord heard it. Uh-oh. Let's see. Verse 3.
Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out.
All right. All right. Why? This is an insider. This is no joke. The only reason I'm laughing at this part, Moses was very meek above all the men that were upon the face of earth. It's funny to me because who wrote the first five books, beloved? This ain't a trick question. Anybody know who's accredited the first five books of writing it?
The Most High through Christ and Moses.
Well, yeah. So when he's saying he's like the most meekest person, but he's like writing it himself. So it's just like it's just no funny stuff. Little humor I have on my side, but he was the meekest. He was a meek brother. I mean, through his actions, it's clear that he was meek. But I just laugh every time. Call yourself humble. All right. So nonetheless, verse 4. And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moses. So remember, they're saying this stuff. I don't know if they said to his face or whatever. I don't know. This could have been a little conversation. They talking amongst themselves. That's why you got to be mindful of all those little things. The Most High's listening to that, beloved. Think about how many conversations we had, and we just thinking between us and just the other person. All right. I'm thinking about myself, like, wow, okay, I got to purge that myself, right? The Most High can hear those things and charging you to those things. I want you to hear it. He heard it and listen what he about to do from what he heard. Okay? Selling unto Moses. So he's speaking to Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam. All right. So he's dealing with all three and says, what? Come out, ye three, into the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. All right. And Brother Kai did like how we do in our siblings. We know our siblings. They're like, ooh, right? So they say, y'all come out. Okay. Come out the tabernacle of the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's gonna happen. I'm sorry, is there anybody got any questions? or comments? I'm sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat. Okay, looks like we're good with the chat. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moses. Oh, I'm sorry, verse 5. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house.
All right, beloved. This is big, big, big. Okay. So Lord came down the pillar of the cloud. Remember, they was already witnessing that. Remember, he will come down the cloud upon the tabernacle, he'll go up. We know the time to move and all that stuff. So that cloud was representing his glory. Not him, he's not a cloud. It represented his glory, him coming down, and he will speak through it. Okay. So the Lord came down the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle. Okay. And called called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. All right. So he's bringing them too. Okay. Said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, this is something we need to keep. I don't know if did I do a prophet lesson? I'm not even sure. If I didn't, this is one of the parts I have in there. Okay. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him. All right. Or her. Okay. Listen, how? Unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. So he's telling you how he deal with prophets. Okay. He gives them dreams, visions, some kind of similitude or something. Okay. So he don't speak to him. He's saying, but my servant Moses is not so. So prophets, remember Mary was a prophetess. I deal with you in dreams and visions. I'll show you something. You sometimes can relate that and recall that. But I don't deal with Moses in that manner, who is faithful in all my house. So he's showing a discrepancy or difference between how he dealt with prophets and prophetess and how he dealt with Moses. Very important, beloved. He deals with prophet, and that's like where we can obtain to the prophet and prophetess status. That's a high status. God's dealing with you. We deal with that. But you're getting it like this. You're getting through dreams and visions. So there's somewhat, I will say, of a veil behind it, right? You're seeing it through, I'll just use right now as a veil. So you're getting dreams and visions. But he's saying Moses is not getting it like that. There's something Moses don't get it. He don't have that same veil you have, right? Just like when you're talking about the Holy of Holies, you can go into the holy place, right? So the prophets and everything, like they get into the building, but then there's a what? And there's a Holy of Holies, right? There's another veil piece, something that they can't get into. He's saying there's another thing. There's a little VIP in here. Moses is in there. I deal with y'all, but I don't deal with y'all like Moses. I share and give you messages, but I don't give it to you like Moses. Okay? Let's see what he's talking about. Give us verse 8.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the similitude of Yahweh shall he behold. Wherefore, then why ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
All right. Stop that. Listen, if I was there, I would this is the time they probably need a diaper. This would be scary. Most I actually dealing with him like this. All right. He's saying, hold up. I speak to Moses. This says mouth to mouth, mouth to mouth. I think in another passage might say face to face. I don't know where it is, but basically, I speak to him like how I'm speaking to y'all, beloved. He's saying I deal with him directly like that. We have a conversation like that. Y'all getting through dreams. That's like a dark speech. Y'all getting something, but it's not in clarity, like somebody there. Okay, so he said, Moses, I deal with mouth to mouth. I'm speaking to him plainly. Y'all getting once again visions and dreams, and we can look at certain prophets with visions and dreams. We still try to break down what exact, certain visions and dreams look like. So we know there's still a distortion. It's not plain. You still got to dive in and try to maneuver stuff to get the clarity of it. Right? Sometimes we get the overall message, but there's still little things like, maybe this. But Moses is getting what? The clarity. Okay? So I speak to him mouth to mouth and not in dark speeches. I don't give no dark speech. I don't give no mystic, don't understand. He sees it clearly. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. He even beholding me, dealing with me, seeing something different what y'all see. Okay? Wherefore, if you understood this, wherefore then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? You didn't have fear upon you, knowing that I deal with him on a level that's different than yours? You didn't fear to speak against him? What is he really saying? Y'all should have a little more reverence for him, knowing that what I favored and dealt with him on a closer level than you. I'm just making it plain, beloved. I ordained him to be this. I need y'all to be that. Don't you think to speak freely against that like y'all on the same thing. Said Moses on something different. I elevate him to be on that level. Okay? And this is the same. Listen, I want us to catch it, but like I told you, this stuff can be correlated to today. Take this message. I want the churches to take this verse and they need to post it on their church because they talk bad about Moses. As in, he's just some old folk that would just wipe it. What they do about his right? Oh, this is, we got this now, throw it away. Y'all speaking, y'all not afraid. Y'all ain't reverence Moses. I hear sometimes they talk about we got the Holy Spirit, and now we got a better relationship with something like greater than Moses. No, you do not. No, you do not. Right? Moses was the man, beloved. I want you to understand it. Now, I'm not downplaying that. Moses the man. Now, Christ, he's the man of all men, right? But don't, please. Moses had some deep revelation. Floyd, what you have, brother?
Happy Sabbath, all praises, everybody. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yep.
You can see why the Most High was a little upset with Moses, with Aaron and Miriam, because not only did what has Moses said from the Most High that did not come true? You've already seen all the plagues. You've already been brought out of Egypt. You've seen the Red Sea parted. You've done all of this at his word, at God's word through Moses. And now you're gonna start disrespecting the Most High? Really, that's what it is. Because you got a first-hand seat on the Most High dealing with him and doing all these miracles through him. And now we want to start disrespecting. And that's why I think it's a little bit more anger toward them than anybody else. But I'll get.
Oh, good point.
Yeah,
and like I said, I'm not trying to throw off. I want people to understand Moses was getting stuff clear. I want people to understand Moses was getting things clear. We're not even getting that today. You might get a little props. You're not getting it like how Moses was getting these things, beloved. So important. That's why when he's giving us the word, it's like, yo, there's stuff in there. There's understanding stuff levels that we don't even get to in there. Moses was giving stuff that was that time, the time we deal with now, and beyond. He had all that. It wasn't no dark to no cloud thing. He could see it. He understood Christ was coming. It was no guessing. So just want people to know, you need to really be mindful. We deal with those. You need to really understand. Moses wasn't doing no similitude or anything like that. He was getting clarity. All right. The Most High used him. He had to use him this way because it was a purpose for it. Okay. So even how there's that discrepancy from Aaron and Miriam to Moses, it's even a bigger gap when it comes to us with what? Christ. All right. Because what? Christ would say, and people don't catch it. Remember Christ's little wording he would use. I was in the bosom of the Father. Y'all ain't never heard or seen it. Y'all ain't never dealt with him. Y'all ain't never heard his voice. He's saying stuff to let you know the same thing he tries to talk about Moses. Y'all not on that level. I give y'all little dreams and visions. No, they was getting dreams and visions even during Christ time. You can get that. Y'all didn't get it like this. This is why he said, hear ye him. He's on that level. Okay? So we know with Christ, that's why when Christ, he's like what? Prophet like unto Moses. He's on that level. Okay? Well, he's not on the, he's beyond Moses. All right. Other than that, you probably got Christ, and we ranked it. Moses would be like under that level, and then you have the prophets and stuff dealing with stuff. But Moses, yes, he was getting dealt with differently. Okay. And this does not take away from now, well, God dealt with Moses this way, so I'm gonna really listen to Moses and not listen to this prophet. No, if anybody being used by God, it's that same authority. All right. Don't get caught up on that part. All right. But God's just letting them know, because what was they questioning? He not speak with us. You know, he'll deal with us also. You don't say that unless you what? You're kind of getting envious. You think you're on his, you know, he dealing with us too. And why would two need to go have that agreement to the one? Because if we are both equal, if all three of us are equal, then two of us can what? We can override that word. We kind of vote it out. And we're all on that equal thing. But no, God said, that's the one. All right, that's the 1, 2, whatever, 3. He's all 3. You can't, y'all not. I didn't make y'all to have that authority over him. Okay, but how this started, beloved? Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman who he had married. This is why you can't always just look at something and start judging it. You start putting your thing on there. If he doing that, he probably ain't as special as he kind of claimed or something. You got to be mindful of that. Well, this man guy, he do pray and everything, but I fast 2 or 3 times a week. He don't do that. So, you know, God deal with me too. I hear you. You can't force God to put you on that level, beloved. I know some people, you can't force him, right, to put more of a anointing or something than he have. If he put anointing on somebody, you can't force that anointing off of them and take it. No. And some of that is coveting as well. All right. But I want to show, like I said, I like to show the humanity in these things as well, right? At least, all right, and I'm speaking as a fool, at least they when they're looking at this as well, the danger that it has, all right, for the people. This is why leadership is so important, how we are, right? Because what do you think happens when you're trying to teach, you know, you need to, you know, love, be with your people and everything, and you have your leader married to an Ethiopian? What do you think was one of the problems that was happening? Because I like to put it as they were just wicked or evil. I don't see that they were just wicked or evil like that. No, sometimes, but you can make a slip up, you know what I mean? But most I had to correct it before it turned into something else. What do you think is one of the big issues that will happen?
I mean, it'll be, why can't I? Moses did it, and look how powerful he is.
There we go. Right? You got these brothers looking at, this is the leader we have, and he got himself an Ethiopian.
Mm-hmm.
Why can I get myself an Ethiopian? Whether, like I said, this is how things go. Or he got an Ethiopian, let me get somebody from, you know, let me get a Philistine, let me get this and that. That's how it will go. But once again, they're not, some of them, I don't think they will look at the whole picture. Remember, Moses out there for a while as well, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, it didn't matter. Okay? This is why somebody got to stay in like, no, you do what thus saith the Lord. Don't always judge it by a situation or your emotions, things of that nature. Okay? So that was one of the things, this is me, Brother Michael. I don't know the scriptures spelled out of the way. I'm thinking that was one of the things that was being problematic. I think that's why they put it in there, right? Because the Ethiopian woman he married. It was a problem that he married the Ethiopian woman. He wouldn't have had this problem, maybe they married an Israelite sister, but the Ethiopian woman. So I'm guessing this was causing, you know, certain, you know, issues in there. And they're the leaders. And sometimes, that's why I say you got to pray for your leaders as well. Sometimes that pressure comes to them. How do I deal with that? And you're looking like, oh, no, you need to stay with it. But y'all saying that, but Moses got it like, so that can sometimes like, hey, he's causing issues. If he would have just, you know. So this is some of the stuff that's going around. There's some things you're going to deal with even in the church. Okay? But you want to make sure you're judging things righteously. And you don't want to be caught up in foolishness as well. Sometimes you don't even have a problem with something, but because other people have a problem with it and you ain't checking and you being around it, sometimes that spirit will hop on you. Okay? But nonetheless, this was that opening door, that little chink in that armor, right? And this is how it was used to say, you know what? He dealt with us. Think about this, beloved. This started this ideal. Moses married to the Ethiopian woman led to this. Have the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Why did you jump to that? And think about this, but this is what I'm saying. This ain't even like 50 years late. They just got out of Egypt. He was married. Listen, beloved, he was married to her when he was doing all these plagues, right? When he spread the rest, like people forgetting this is that guy, beloved. This ain't somebody we hearing about like us. They can see Moses. They dealt with him. They held him. They beheld him. They seen the miracles. They're talking about that guy. But sometimes we can get puffed up in our head. God start using you here and there. You start looking and start comparing and thinking. You got to be humble in this thing. Got to be humble. All right? But they're getting a humbling lesson by the best humbler. All right? That is the Most High God. All right? So let's go back. Okay. So there be mouth to mouth. Wherefore, when then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? All right. So, beloved, I know there's a lot of foolishness in the church world. Do acknowledge that. We understand that. But don't let that be now a reason why you disrespect men of God or women of God, right? Don't let that, don't do that. All right. Because yeah, there's some devils, but sometimes you get so upset at all the devils you have, you're going to speak against, oh, you know what? All them preachers, they all about it. Okay, now you done slipped on the tongue. Right? You might have, I know what you meant, but you talk about now you can get in trouble if you're talking about one that the Most High is actually used or anointing. All right. So make sure, beloved, when you're dealing with it, all right, you know somebody's used by God. They might do something you don't particularly agree with, but don't just throw them away and say, well, they not really, well, God dealt with me too. Right? Don't do those kind of things. Okay. Be humble. Make sure we're supposed to be loving each other. They should have went to Moses regardless. They felt like that. It could be mercy with it. But once again, they spoke out. So this is going to just be a lesson for us. All right. Verse 9.
And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed.
All right. So he was hot. Right. And there ain't nothing scarier than when the Most High get angry. Because we know he's what? He's slow to anger. I want you to understand that. If he's slow to anger, think about what this thing sped that thing right up. Slow to anger. And this was probably telling you, this probably wasn't a conversation that's happened once. This probably something what? Discussing and talking about. Remember, Moses didn't even deal with it. And Moses probably would have forgave him, didn't even deal with it. You see how he didn't even give Moses he didn't even talk to Moses. Well, Moses, what you think about this? How should I handle this? He stepped right in there. And this is what people got to understand. Yeah, people can forgive you, but that don't mean the Most High not going to do his judgment on certain things. All right? So we want to be careful with everything we are doing, beloved. Let's keep reading though. Verse 10.
And Yahweh, Salaki, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
Uh-oh.
And Aaron said,
go, you get the next verse. Sorry.
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
All right, so that cloud leaving, Most High departing from it, but he left Miriam a gift. All right, well, curse, if you want to say it like that. Behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. Right, so she lost the pigmentation. Okay, however dark or whatever she was, she lost it. Okay, she became leprous, white as snow. So the clear sign, uncleanness, right? And Aaron looked upon Miriam, behold, she was leprous. Right, so he looked and said, "Oh, snap, she's leprous." All right, she got all this leprosy, beloved. Okay, listen. And Aaron said unto Moses, all right, and this ain't this one of the first time. Remember, even Job, the story of Job did the same thing. Remember, there was those friends that was going there speaking all that bad stuff on Moses' condition. The Most High actually made them go to Job and do a sacrifice on their behalf. You see how God will humble somebody, right? But okay. Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, okay, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Okay. Is there a particular thou shall not if you're doing, you're talking about the leaders, marriage, it ain't no thou shall not, but they what? Said I have done wrong. Any kind of that wrongdoing is falling in the sin realm, beloved. They knew better. All right. They are leaders. They have a certain responsibility. Okay. They hold a certain weight. So you have to be more careful, more mindful of your actions. But they have to what? He plead to Moses. Lay not the sin upon us. Why they pleaded to Moses, not God? Remember, God wasn't dealing with them like that. They forgot that part. Remember, when they have an issue, you go to Moses. Moses will what? Go to the Most High, and God will give him the answer. They forgot about that part when they was talking about he deal with us too. Moses getting that thing is like I'm going to my friend and we're going to talk, and okay, I'll come back to y'all. He wasn't doing that with Miriam and Aaron. But see how sometimes in your haste and you will make certain mistakes? You will speak things and not really thinking about the whole math behind it because you're in your moment. Or sometimes we say you're in your emotions. And that's why I say you got to be mindful of these emotions. That's not spirit. Emotions, just emotions. We don't get led. The Bible never tell you be led by your emotions. It says be led by the spirit. Because the spirit can lead you somewhere your emotions will try to drive you away from. Okay? But he knew who to go to. He said, people talk, but see, when times get rough, right, they know where to go. Sometimes they'll talk about you. They're going to talk about you. This person think they holy and this and that, and that, right? They might say little things about you, beloved. But when stuff hits them home, a lot of times they don't go to sometimes their man of God, all that stuff, because sometimes they know this person's full of it. But I need a real answer. I didn't really deal with God. And that's when they'll go to weirdo you. The one they was talking about is weird all stuff because they're like, I know they're different. And this is the game that people will play. And this is what I'm saying. Make sure you stay upon being consistent and keeping your integrity. All right. God will do the rest. Right? It ain't our job to try to humble nobody. Moses ain't not trying to humble them. You ain't see nothing about humble them or he judging you saying, oh, y'all thought y'all was on my level. He ain't do none of that. He's just been his humble self. God is doing this. Okay. So at least Aaron, the one thing I want to acknowledge and give credit to, at least Aaron went and what? He went to Moses. And he what? Asked for, listen, we sinned. We done foolish. And why that's a big deal? Because a lot of times we don't get that. People will know they did wrong, and we'd be like, you know what, we ain't gonna say nothing. We'll just, let it go and let time go past. Nah, at least he went and seen his need. Okay. Like I said, we want to give we want to give it on both sides. Like I said, these great lessons for both sides. You get caught up with something, beloved, like Aaron did. Okay. Now the question might arise. All right. Why didn't God give both of them leprosy? All right. I don't think I found a scripture of it, but anybody had any ideas of why? And if there's a verse, I don't remember seeing no verse of saying why Miriam got it and Aaron. So I'm not looking for a verse. I'm just if somebody just ever thought about it. Okay.
I don't know the answer, but I think it would definitely make her stand out from the others.
Absolutely. Yeah, leprosy would definitely make you do that, right? It's definitely something want to be made known, want to be made clear. That was one of the clearest signs. You don't have to guess if somebody's unclean with that. Remember, we had the laws. We know that person's unclean, right? Want to make that thing known. Probably so other people see it, but also herself to know clearly what she's done, right? You just rub on a tree and then get this full leprosy. Like she knew clearly what it was. At least she will never forget that. Aaron will never forget that. And it will always keep them in check. But also, she getting it, I don't think it's just because because people type, oh, God's sexist because he just got Miriam and not Aaron. Could have been dealt with Aaron and maybe the priesthood and stuff. Well, he wouldn't be able to function in some of that. That's would be more my assumption with it. But yeah, I don't remember the scriptures going into detail, so I don't want to speculate too much. All right, be something along those. I think it'll be something along those lines. All right.
Oh,
go ahead.
I believe this is my opinion is righteous conversation. I believe a high priest couldn't be leprous neither.
That's what I'm saying. He would probably get. I would guess he would be kicked. Well, I don't say kicked out of the office, but yeah, he wouldn't definitely be able to go into. He wouldn't be able to function because he wouldn't be able to go into temple.
Right. Yeah.
And that will cause. I want to say that will cause the nation because I don't think you can just replace him or remove it. I gotta look into that. Yeah, but that's why I'm thinking it will do more damage to the nation than it'll be more of a punishment than just Aaron getting hit. It will hit others, but with the woman, it wouldn't damage.
Right.
Priest and everything's functioning. It ain't going to change because of her. So that'd be one of the things. But I don't mean Aaron. Like I said, they like Aaron just escaped. He knew what he did wrong. He got that, but he just didn't get hit with that. Probably for that reason. He still got that anointing of the Most High from his office. All right, which is another point of why I don't just be jumping into something because yes, the Most High can deal differently. Right? You can have that conversation. Most High hears it. He might hit you with something, worse than the person you have the conversation. You're like, wait up, why did we both get? Nah, it is Most High. He didn't say y'all gonna always get the same punishment and everything, so you need to be careful and mindful of that, beloved. That's some other things, because you look around and say, God ain't fair. He did this to me, but he didn't do this to them. Listen, he can give mercy to who he had mercy with. He got his own little, measurements. All right. It's our job not to even put ourselves in that predicament because we don't know how the Most High is going to judge things. Okay. But if you get hit with the wrath of God, you can go to him. If you want to go to the man of God or whatever, get that extra, off there, right? That's no problem as well. Okay. But let's not try to tempt the Most High God, okay, with certain actions. All right, so he's saying we've done foolishly, and listen, he's still acknowledging, it ain't just her, we've done foolishly. We said, lay not the sin, listen, he's saying, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, okay? Don't let this then stay with us. All right, well, we done foolishly. We understand we said, just don't lay it upon us, because there's certain things, beloved, we could do something, and that thing don't truly lay on us, and we deal with the strength of it. I told you as well with that other conversations. All right, so that's why it's good to repent quickly. All right, before that thing overtakes. All right, let's keep going, Brother Kai. Verse 12.
Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried unto Yahweh, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee.
You see this? Remember, this is sister, right? Let her not be as one dead. Flesh is consumed when he come up. That's how that, like, oh, don't let her be like that. Right? So Aaron crying out. This is the high priest crying out, all right, on behalf of what? One of the children of God. Okay? But even with that high priest, this is why we thank God for that true high priest of Christ. Okay, you need that mediator. You need to strengthen that mediator to get to God. But you see, he went to what? He cried to Moses. And Moses did what? Moses cried unto the Lord. That's why we gotta be mindful who you talk to, because sometimes the people we despise and the people that the Most High put in there to actually help us, sometimes to be a covering for us. Sometimes we despise the covering that the Most High gave to you. You despise your mercy. And we don't see that. We don't understand. That's what sometimes we don't understand. That's what we're doing. Because we're not seeing with spiritual eyes. We're looking carnally. Think about that, beloved. People hating the thing that the Most High gave to them. We want to curse the things that God used as a blessing for us. And that's what they were doing. Moses a blessing for. They knew Moses was this who God sent to deliver. They knew that. And they thought to what? Talk bad about that. Y'all see what we do? Y'all see why we have to stay constantly before them? We got to seek them every day. Because a moment of foolishness comes that every second foolishness try to come in there. It just takes one time to give it a little bit of life. We be the same thing. It's not far removed from us. We do things like this in different capacities often. All right. So make sure, beloved, we want to make sure we judge righteously, right? We don't get cocky or anything, right? And if we do make a mistake, acknowledge your mistake. Ask the Most High God for forgiveness. Okay. And if you there was an alt that with a brother and sister, whatever, you can ask them for forgiveness, right? Ask them for forgiveness, whatever, and they should forgive. You go to the Most High, clear it up. Okay. Where we at, Brother Kai?
Verse 14.
14. All right, heal her now. Oh God, I beseech. So okay. Let's see. Y'all see how he didn't have to do all that extra stuff? Before we get to what happened, I want you to understand. You see how Moses, oh God, we need you, Lord. Calm down. We need your hit. He didn't go through this whole spill. Did it say he was shaking, Brother Kai? Did it say his eyes rolled back?
No.
He had to do 3 backflips.
No, sir.
Grab a gallon of anointing oil. It was power because the power is in what? That righteousness and obedience. That's how you can see it. When you look at these brothers and everything, they're not doing all that stuff you see in churches. This is why you just gotta look, just read it and look and compare and contrast. Right? When they got it's a demon in the church. You got that demon doing all this crazy stuff and everything. You know what I mean? And they're coming and showing and throwing this and that. A lot of that stuff is for show. All right. A lot of times when you look at it, they're just calling it out. Look at Christ. What's he doing? He called it, come out. That demon said, whoop, I got to come out because there was authority behind it. You better make sure you got that spirit of that authority behind it. Okay? Because if not, you can call it out. But boy, you better have some power. You're gonna be like the 7 sons of Sceva that got beat up by that spirit and was making it. All right, this ain't no game. Don't just be grabbing something thinking this is fun. No, you better make sure you're being led by the Spirit. All right. So he said, heal her now, oh God, I beseech thee. Verse 14.
And Yahweh said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she be not ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days. And after that, let her be received and again.
All right. So you need a little bit of the law thing. All right. So what you got, sis?
Han, you know how we tell our children, well, I know back in the day when I was raising mine, where you show out at, that's where I'm going to get you at. So if I got to come up to the school and whoop you, I will. And that's what we did. And that's the same, and that's that spirit of the Most High in Christ on us, because even he said, I think it's in 1 Timothy 5:20, and even in the old law, in Leviticus as well. If you want to go to 1 Timothy 5:20, you can read it really quickly. Where you act up at, that's where you're gonna get dealt with at. So she did that publicly, so therefore she have to be cast out and ashamed and humiliated publicly.
Mm-hmm. So Brother Kai is 1 Timothy 5 and verse 20. So this is dealing with that whole thing about the elders, how you deal with them.
Them that sin rebuke before all, Khan, that the others also may fear. Mm-hmm.
I digress.
And that's a good point. And people, like, sometimes we don't understand the love the Most High have for order and direction, things of that nature. People look at it like, oh my God, he's going to embarrass people. Nah, ain't about. Well, part of it's embarrassing because hopefully with the embarrassment you won't do it again. That's the thing about embarrassment and feeling embarrassed is the point is so you don't do this again. Okay, but he said rebuke before all. All right, correct before all, because what? That the others also may fear. All right. Because you just let stuff go, certain things go. What happened? Everybody's going to ride on that train. Okay. Oh, brother so-and-so did this and, nothing happened. Oh, now you're going to see everybody trying to go and do that. Okay. Even they go to exemption to the rules. Everybody think they're exemption to the rules. Okay. So you rebuke before all that what the others may fear. So they look like, oh, man. Nah, I ain't doing that. Shit, I get caught doing that. You see what happened to that person? I don't want that to happen to me. I told you the same thing when they had certain laws. You have to stone them and stuff. Why? So that others would fear. So that brother's like, oh man, I want to. Nah, I ain't doing that. I don't want to get stoned. It ain't worth that. That's what some of these things is for. All right. It's for to make sure others understand it. All right, as well as the other person. So everything's a learning lesson. So good point, sis. And this is why they need to get this right away because what? That's their leader. If you didn't nip this in the bud, what do you think was going to happen? You don't think it would have poured out maybe in their talks and conversations? You don't think they would have started talking about certain stuff? You don't think certain brothers and sisters wouldn't say certain things in their ear like, man, you righteous too. Remember, you let us out too. Right? They would have been feeding that, and they would have went and fell out and rebelled against Moses. God loved us so much, he said, nah, I'm gonna get y'all straight right here. Let y'all know right now, y'all better get that kind of foolish thinking right out your head. Because y'all can't afford to make the same mistakes as those can. Because there's thousands upon thousands that's looking at y'all. If y'all act like a circus, they're going to be acting like it. All right? So, yes, he had to deal with them that way. That's why I say if you want to get in leadership, you better make sure you know what's happening. It's all fun and dandy. I want my name to be all right. you worried about you want to have your little glory name. Nah. You're going to have to get that discipline and stuff that comes with it. And people don't want that. All right. So be mindful. So when you go with the spit in the face, one law that comes to my mind is when the husband or woman have a husband, the husband dies without giving her a child, and then she try to marry like a supposed to go to like the closest of kin. And if that closest of kin say, you know what, no, I don't want to, sleep with you to raise you a child, then I think it was like a spit in the face. I want to say that was right. He spit in the face, and I think he takes his shoe off, but I think he had to spit in his face or something like that. Right. Anyway, spit in the face, as we know now, right, is nothing that is good. All right. It wasn't a respectful thing. All right. You spit in somebody's face, that's disrespectful. That is disgusting, beloved. Do not ever do that. All right. To anybody. Don't spit in nobody's face. Okay. So he's saying, but the Lord's trying to make a thing. If her father had but spit in her face, so he's making a comparison. So this had to be very disrespectful. If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? All right. So let's be ashamed, unclean 7 days. Then what? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days. All right. So you're telling her she got to be out the camp 7 days. And after that, let her be received. And again, because what? We're dealing with cleanliness, right? And a lot of times they have to stay outside the camp, go through the cleanliness thing, and then they can come back in. So he's saying she's going to stay out there 7 days outside the camp, and then she'll be received again. She can come back into the camp. Okay. But as long as she had that leprosy, listen, beloved, that was a serious punishment. As long as she had that leprosy, she couldn't come into camp. We don't know when the expiration date. I think she was just going to have it. The only thing that lifted this off is because Aaron pleaded, as a high priest, pleaded on her behalf to Moses, the mediator, okay, to get this thing lifted off. But if this didn't happen, she would have had the punishment of staying outside the camp forever. That is a painful punishment, beloved. Okay, remember there was a king that offered. Remember we went to that story. A king that offered the offerings and everything. And remember that was just supposed to be for the Levites. Remember he got hit with leprosy. And had to what? Had to stay outside the camp. I think he had it till the day he died. Okay? So even though she did that, thank God she had what? Somebody to plead on her behalf. This is why I say, be careful you speaking against. Sometimes we're speaking against somebody that can what? Plead on our behalf to get something removed off of us. Because I don't know if she could have pleaded for it and got it off of her. Okay? So this is why we want to be one. This is why we want to, love one another and do this thing together, beloved. Okay? All right. So she'll be received again after 7 days. All right, let's finish it up.
And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterward, the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
So long as she was out there those 7 days, they did not move. All right, so they waited till she came in. So I guess we can say it was somewhat of a happy ending uh, on our behalf, but that was a crazy risk. Right now, beloved, she got healed. But this don't mean now the others that see this say, you know what? If I disrespect my leader and I get hit with leprosy, just gonna plead the Most High, and He's just gonna remove that from. No, you don't. You don't go. Don't think it always correlates like that because you know better, beloved. All right, a lot of things we know better. We're seeing these things. All right, so we jump into these things willingly. It could be a sore punishment. Okay, so we just don't want to take those kind of chances. All right. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. All right, but we definitely it's good. We want to, I'm love that they put, even Miriam in there, so we can see, and our ladies can see that the Most High acknowledge and use women as well, right? They're not going to be the pastors and stuff like that. They're not sent to, teach and be over a congregation in that fashion, right? But they can lead in their capacity. All right. So we thank God, and we thank God that she was a righteous woman that let God use her. Because sometimes we like to, I tell you what our minds, I want us to get out of that. That's why I always want to notice it. Some people, we always think about the bad with people. And that's something when we have to check on our vision, right? Some people think about David, their mind goes right to, remember he's still bad sheep, right? We always go to the negative aspect, but sometimes we don't give the reference of, remember, God was using these people as well, right? We don't want to let one moment overshadow everything, right? These people was doing good as well. Mary was there praising the Most High. Remember that, letting them through. Like, nah, I don't. Her whole life ain't on this one thing she did wrong. She messed up, but it's to let you know God can use you, beloved, and also He can take that thing away if He choose. He can take it away anytime. Okay, you can be on fire for the Lord, God, giving you glory. But if you give one moment to Satan, we can make a mistake, and bang, he can humble us and put us below the lowest. Okay, yeah, because with that leprosy, you put low, all right? But we thank the Most High that He had mercy, right? That He touched Aaron, the high priest, to pray, right? I'm gonna say to ask, pray to Moses that he, the mediator, would advocate to the Father, right, on her behalf. So you see the love that they had, showing even the humility of Moses. See how Moses was like, well, that's what she get for not, doing it. Nah, you got to sometimes see past, that's fleshly, right? You got to see that person's need. She needed something. She needed a mediator. She needed prayer on her behalf. Okay. And if we are in the flesh, we're not going to see those things. We get too personal. We got to we got to strengthen ourselves, beloved. All right. Sometimes people they're going to say certain things, but we got to realize it's not them. It's the spirit that's used at that time. Okay, this is why the prayers of a righteous man says availeth much. Women, same thing. Prayers availeth much. Don't doubt the power of your prayer. All right, that is one of Satan's devices. Don't doubt it, beloved. That's a tool that the Most High has given that we can draw power to us. It's prayer. Okay, believe in the Most High God. Believe who you are to them. And that he desired that none be lost. So we have to try to be lost. I want to understand. We have to actually try to be lost. We got to actually try to be wicked. I know that messes up our whole mind. So you have to try to be wicked. You have to try to go away from God because He's saying, I don't desire it. I want you to come in it. That's why He said, I'm full of mercy. I'm full of compassion. The problem is we don't take advantage of it. That's shame on us. All right. So, beloved, the only thing that separates us, beloved, from our forefathers and foremothers we reading about and us is that they made up in their mind they're going to serve the Most High God no matter what. And when we get our mind to we're going to serve God no matter what, let nothing separate us, it will be just like them. They're not superheroes. They're not this and that. No. this was what we were supposed to be like, right? And we are walking in that, beloved. Let's stay focused. Let's stay continuing to do what thus saith the Lord until the Most High calls us back and asks for that spirit back. All right. So let's make sure we're doing all that we can do. Okay. Not just for yourself, beloved, but for others. When you live righteous, it's helping others. All right. If that'll be all, we got anything, anybody else? Anything on the chat?
Brother Mike, just real quick.
Mhm.
I just wanted to just kind of, beloved, this story reminds us to guard our thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, of course, this is like just a way for us to kind of don't allow those negative thoughts to start to grow in our minds that we cause ourselves to sin. You know, like this situation is obviously it was something they was thinking and pondering on, and little by little it started to become. I, we don't want to make stuff up, but I'm saying that obviously it starts off as a thought. We want to get rid of those things because then it becomes unrighteous, and then it could become wicked. So we just want to make sure that we got these negative thoughts in us. We know Philippians 4:8 teaches us what we should be thinking on, but this seed of doubt and that seed of wickedness and that seed of unrighteousness could we just got to learn how to just kind of start to just get rid of those negative thoughts and start to put more positive, lovely, beautiful, pure things in our minds. That way we don't start to speak on those things and start to bring them into action. That's all.
No, you're 100% right. Right? As a man, what? Thinking, so is he. Just thinking, so are you. Think about when you was in your low spot. You thought you were this. You thought you weren't a child of God anymore. You thought you was unworthy. You thought, and because of that, you stayed in that condition. But when you start to understand who you are and who God called, then you'll what? You'll connect. So your thoughts is very important. And then what? The thoughts of the mind start to become what? And thoughts of the heart be what? Confessions out the mouth. So our words are very important. But they first generate what? In the mind. All right. This is where the seed starts. And then when you speak it, now it's giving power to what? That thought. Okay. So remember, our words, everything, and brother, right on point. We know we're supposed to be thinking about. That's why we think about it. If you think about it, put your mind on things above all the time, beloved, you will realize it's a whole different world. Right? You'll realize a lot of stuff we deal with is foolishness. It's straight foolishness. But we have to put our mind on things above. But we so caught up in this world, all the things and cares of this world. That's why we in all this muck that we're in. But when we put our minds on things above, we're going to see a lot of things. A lot of things we go through is self-inflicted. All right. But what you got, sis?
Just to land back, and just we have to remember that if, like in Hebrew say, if we don't get chastised by the Most High power, then we are considered bastards. So that Miriam and even us today, when we get chastised, and he has mercy, and he did bring her back, because leprosy, you be outcast forever. Kind of love that you are considered one of his children. If we don't get chastised and we just carry on in our sins and think that we are, still in the Most High in Christ, and not being chastised and continue to live in that sin, then we are at that point a reprobate. Even to this day, like if I thump my toe on my dresser and I'll be like, well, you know what? I did just think that, Father, it is what it is. I have thought just then, so we have to continue, like Brother Floyd said, filter our thoughts, our minds constantly all day long. Because like Paul said, when we're thinking good, there go evil right there. There go a song talking about twerk, 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 and you just taking on the spirit just then. You're like, oh, where that thought come from? So it's constant. It's a constant, all day, every day, dying daily, to the Most High in Christ and his words. And, and he knows. So we just have to know that when we get chastised, it's because he loves us and we are his children. Take the correction, do better, repent, and turn. That's it. I digress.
Beautiful point. Beautiful point. We gotta do that. Reminded me, we have to see last time we did that lesson, but I think it's like rebuke the misunderstood form of love. But that's so true. We have to understand that. Because you know the world talking when you getting beat or getting chastised by the Lord is because he hates you. Nah, that's the heathen. Like, once again, that's the heathens teaching certain things. That ain't what we know it. That what we know you know you the rod of correction. We know that. We know that that's our love. We know we beat our kids ain't because we hate them, and because we want them to do they doing something wrong, and we beat them for it ain't because we want them to do more wrong. It's because what you want to do what's right. We always knew it was part of love, but this world trying to taint everything of God, right? But yes, keep our minds on things above. This is why the scripture talk about exhorting each other, one another daily, right? We got the WhatsApp, but some of us that might link up with have little text buddy and stuff like that, and encourage. You never know, man. I'm telling you, never know what a simple verse can do. It can change somebody's life. Somebody can be at the edge of giving up, and your little, it might be something small. Hold on, or I love you. Keep fighting, because your words is what life. You gave life to that.
Con.
We don't, like I said, don't underestimate it. All right, because I think some of us experience some dark times, and some people, they'll do their cry for help. They just need a glimpse of light. They just need a little bit to gravitate to. So be that. All right. As much as we learn the word of God, it's not so we can destroy. I don't teach you anything just to be destroying people. It's for edification, that hopefully you can bring life to those that are in darkness, right? To those that are, dead in sin. That's the power that we should be focusing on. All right, to save, because it's about what? Saving the rest of our brothers and sisters. All right. Was there anything else, Brother Kai? I know you got off of me. I wasn't sure if you had something you had something you wanted to say. Sure.
No.
You were good. Okay.
You're good.
All right. Anybody else got anything before we close out? All right. Beloved, that was a short chapter, but it was a full chapter. All right, a lot of good things. I love everybody's words they added throughout it. This is what it's about, family. All right. So that is Numbers chapter 12. Lord's willing, we'll do the next chapter next week, or I might have something off script next week, right? To be announced. But those that are watching online through YouTube want to say Agana Haba Thumb, which means love you all, and Shalom or Shalom or Shalom